Hello there, this is Wicked the Alien.
And this is Gwen the Ducky, and welcome to yet another episode of the Ducky Alien Files. Tonight we're going to be covering the Chicago Tylenol Murders.
The
We've
Fable
done
Tylenol.
we've done two videos that led up to this, and we finally
Yeah.
made it to the meat and bones of the
Oh
product
boy,
tampering of the mall.
that's right.
Yeah,
Don't get a
so
headache.
yeah. So, how did you come about the Chicago Tylenol murders exactly?
Actually, that was when I was about 13 years old. I heard about them briefly through an FBI files show, I think. It was very interesting indeed, so I thought if I ever get my hands on the information or intel, it what as it's called, I was going to use it for feeding my brain or educating myself. One same thing.
Nice. I first came across the case myself when I was around the same age as you, only it was a different program entirely. I think it was a program on E Network when they still had good programming on there, or
And
was it a channel called Oxygen? I'm
I,
not really too sure exactly.
mine was TLC.
The Learning Channel?
Yep, that one that used to be the Learning Channel.
Oh my. Yes, before they replaced it with all the crap reality TV shows like Carlos and Tiaras, Here Comes Honey Boo Boo, and all that junk.
Oh God, I'm getting a headache just thinking about that. And 29, 19 children or whatever the hell it was called.
Yeah, pageant children.
I think it was that's what it was called. It was pretty disturbing to see those reality things infiltrate our brains.
Yeah, but that's not what we're talking about for tonight. We're going to be talking about
I
the
know that.
murders.
Okay, so what did you get out of the video that I sent you?
Yeah, so the video was provided by a YouTuber known as Petal Palmer. Yeah,
She is
Wicked.
great.
Yes, Wicked sent me her video on the Tylenol situation a few nights ago, and I was blown away by how she covered it. She treated the victims of the murder case with such empathy.
Yes, that's what I like about her too. I'm pretty sure she's an empath, but that'll be another time.
Y-
Anyways, what were you gonna say?
the way she delivered the stories about the lives of the victims was absolutely phenomenal. Mary
Yeah,
Kellerman, especially, she was only 12 years old at the time of her death, and the day she
damn.
died also happened to be on September 29th, of all things. The three members of the Janus family, that is Adam, Stanley, and Teresa, as well as Mary Reiner, would follow Mary Kellerman by a few hours on that very same day. We will get to those parts in just a bit.
Your birthday.
Yeah, and it was the first of the Tylenol deaths too. And I had to be
Damn.
a kid. She was a seventh grader at Adams Junior High School in Schaumburg, and she was living in
Mm-hmm.
Chicago's northwest suburbs. And she was also a babysitter. Only 12 years old, she was only a babysitter.
I think that's the standard age to be a babysitter.
I always thought it was 16, really. But that's
I
beside the
thought so
point.
too.
Yeah, she was kind of an old soul, if you will, for her to be taking care of children the way she did.
Yes, that's true.
I really admire and respect her for it. It's a shame that she
She
didn't
had
get
a
to live to take care of whatever dream that she had of becoming a mother herself to whatever children she would have had. I could imagine that she would be like the best mother on God's green earth.
yep, she would be a Jupiter in my opinion if she was still around.
Yeah, she was at home from school because she was very sick. Of all
And
things, give it to her to help make her feel better. It was Tylenol.
it made her feel like crud.
And you
Beyond
could have,
crud.
yeah, you imagine the horror on her father's face when he discovered that she fell while still in the bathroom.
Yes, I remember that part. I could just imagine the horror she was going through when her brain was still going. Like, what the heck is going on here?
Yep. And she ended up lying still on the floor. And according to Petal, her father checked up on her a few times to see if she was okay, but there
Didn't
was no answer from her. And she came
uh,
in, she was literally lying on the floor, and she ended up having to be hospitalized, only to die, I believe, around a day later.
damn.
Yeah, it was pretty sad indeed. She was only 12 years old.
Yes, she was. That was very sad.
Yeah, it was. There were the other victims as well. Adam Janus, Stanley and Teresa Janus, Mary Reiner, Mary McFarland, and Paula Prince.
Yes,
Adam Janus and Stanley Janus were siblings.
I kind of figured that when I saw the video myself.
Stanley Janus is the younger of the two siblings.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I understand, both Adam and Stanley were Polish.
Yes.
And Teresa, believe it or not, was Polish too, from what I understand. She was of Polish ancestry, to be exact.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
interesting.
there's Mary Reiner. She was a happily married woman, and she just welcomed her fourth child. She had a total of four children. And
Holy,
of all things, she used Tylenol to try to relieve her post-birth discomfort.
yes, and it didn't turn out right.
Nope. She ended up being hospitalized for practically similar symptoms to like what the other victims went through.
Yes,
Then there's Paula Prince, who would be the final victim of the Tylenol murders. She was a
yeah,
flight attendant, and on the day of
yeah,
her death, she flew from Las Vegas to O'Hare International Airport. She purchased Tylenol from a Walgreens on her way home. She was found
yeah.
dead in her apartment, and an open bottle of Tylenol was found on her bathroom corner.
Dang.
Her,
So that
yeah,
was how it started. how it all went down, basically.
That's right. To this
Yeah,
day, the killer was never found, nor do we still know what the exact motive is, though
yeah,
it seemed to be someone trying to get revenge on a certain company, kind of like what we discussed in the previous video about how a
these can be.
disgruntled employee wanted to get revenge on their boss. Yeah, that's basically what it sounded like.
Yes, that's exactly what it sounded like.
Yep. But most importantly, we should give recognition to Mary Kellerman, Mary McFarland, Adam Janus, Stanley, and Teresa Janus, Mary Reiner, and Paula Prince. Those are the people that deserve the attention, not whoever killed these people.
Not the freak of nature that killed those people.
Yeah, so my message to that dude would be, what the hell have they ever done to you to deserve this?
Touch the grass, buddy.
Absolutely insane.
It is insane. I don't know why. Maybe he didn't touch the grass. You know what I mean?
More
Like he didn't
likely.
get in touch with the reality and didn't realize what the hell he was doing.
Oh no, that wouldn't be the case. He knew fully what he was doing,
I know,
whoever the
but
person is.
everyone can touch the grass sometimes.
Yeah, everybody should touch grass every once in a while. Yeah, at the very
Yes,
least.
true.
Yeah, so
Anyways,
back to the lead up to the deaths of the victims. So Adam Janus, on the day of this death, he thought he was coming down with a cold. He stayed home from work that day. He took two Tylenols after lunch. A couple of minutes later, he came staggering into the kitchen and collapsed.
oh boy, I've seen that scene before in my house without the aid of the asshole.
Yeah,
I've seen that with
exactly.
my mother, but anyways, go on.
Specifically, he was described by Petal as feeling a strange pain in his chest. While he did feel better in the morning, he took the better safe than sorry route of taking the day off from work so he could recover some more and run some errands with his wife and son. Then he picked up his daughter from her Catholic preschool. So the Januses were Polish Catholics.
Interesting.
Adam needed to pick up a few things that happened to have included a bottle of extra strength Tylenol. Once he got home and finished putting away groceries, he grabbed the bottle of Tylenol and went to the bathroom to take some. He swallowed two capsules, and when he went out of the bathroom, he was seen clutching his chest and he complained of the pain. When Adam decided he needed to lay down, Teresa had to follow him. When she walked in, he was described as breathing very rapidly and faint, and his eyes were dilated. Petal Palmer mentions that one of the neighbors of the Genesis happened to be a nurse. So basically, she knew what to do. So the neighbors and Teresa went inside to help Adam. One of the other neighbors that was not a nurse called 911. He was rushed to the hospital. Unfortunately, though, you can guess what happened. He ended up passing away shortly thereafter. Then there was obviously Stanley and Teresa Janice.
Yep.
Stanley was at his brother Adam's house planning a funeral in the morning together with his and Adam's family. He asked his wife to get him some Tylenol for his chronic back pain. Both of them took Tylenol and collapsed together. So they collapsed together.
Oh my god. OMG.
An interesting fact here, Teresa Janice, that is Stanley's wife this time around, preferred to go by Terry. What's amazing about her was that she was adored by her nieces and nephews, like multiple nieces and nephews to be exact. Stanley and Terry were only married 3 months at this point, just 3 months. As I stated a bit earlier, he and the rest of the Janice family were preparing for Adam's funeral. He ended up not feeling well. He was still reeling from his brother's death, so I can only imagine the amount of stress that Adam's death put on him. His mom had to convince him to come over to Adam's house for the funeral plans, as he didn't really feel like going, as he was too under stress to do so. Ultimately, his symptoms would not get any better, and he ended up dealing with a terrible headache. He ultimately chose to get a Tylenol, which, by the way, was also the exact one that Adam took earlier. Believe it or not, his wife took it too. Yeah. Safe to say, it's pretty obvious what happens after that. And yeah, it's pretty sad indeed.
Hmm. That would be sad, both the wife and the husband.
Yep. Then
Damn.
there's Mary Reiner. She, because of her death, her youngest son has to grow up without his mom, all because of the poison Tylenol.
Yes, and the person doing it in the first, putting the poison in the Tylenol and stuff, and then the other death, what, uh,
There's Paula Prince.
Paula Prince, the flight attendant.
Yeah, yeah. And we discussed the circumstances surrounding her death earlier.
Yeah. Also, I must say that she mentioned that they made it tamper proof, and they made them into capsules, not capsules, tablets instead of capsules. So
Yeah, it's so there's no
diddle
tampering with the
with
product.
you can't diddle with a capsule where you can't tablet like you can with a capsule.
Right. Yeah. Thanks, whoever poisoned the Tylenol capsules. Mm,
And
Because of
still,
that, because of that, medicine, specifically tablets and capsules, are now harder to open. Just
especially tablets, you have to but literally chew on them, and that would be gross to try.
yeah, because don't medicine, again, specifically tablets and capsules, not
Tastes like
taste all that good?
no, they taste exactly what we're talking about, cyanide.
Oh, yeah, makes sense.
If you bite into a pill, you ever done that before? Oh god, the taste is atrocious.
Oh, yeah. I once bit into an Advil when I was younger, and oh boy, I was
Oh,
in for quite the world of hurt. It did not taste pleasant at all. And I
oh
thought
god.
all the medicines, the liquid medicines that I had whenever I had a cold were bad.
Yep.
We forgot to talk about Mary McFarland's circumstances. So,
Mary
Mary
McNeil.
McFarland, who is 30 years old, she was working at her job at Illinois Bell in Lombard when she felt a bad headache coming on. Mary
Mm-hmm.
took Tylenol in the back room of her workplace, walked back into the office, and to the horror of her coworkers, she dropped to the floor. For clarification regarding her job, she was a sales rep. Now, she's described as having adored her sons very much, so she was able to work around her schedules so that she could be able to spend more time with the kids. To me, I find that to be very admirable, coming from someone that comes from a single mom family. The fluorescent lights that were located within the store were known to flicker and cause migraines. So I could only imagine what Mary McFarland had to put up with in that particular store. Not surprisingly, she would have migraines. Now, she ended up going to the break room along with a coworker of hers to obtain medication to help with her headaches. Only this time, instead of the usual greenies, that's what the medication provided in that store was called, she ended up having, you guessed it, a Tylenol. This was because she was not too fond of the greenies. So she got what was already in her handbag at the time, being said Tylenol. She went to the break room again, only to say that she wasn't feeling well before fainting shortly thereafter.
Still a baby. She was 30 years old.
Yeah, she was
That's
a
still
single mother, working and raising her two young sons at the time of her death. Her two boys, Ryan and Bradley McFarland, now grown, survived Mary McFarland. It's very sad. She was also survived by her parents, John and Jane Eliasson. I
damn.
mispronounced it.
No
Sorry.
parent should ever
It,
bury the youngins.
yeah. And siblings Jack, Nancy, Thomas, Beth, Stephen, and Diane Ellison. A granddaughter she never had the chance to meet was given Mary as a middle name in her honor. Wow. I thought that was very touching. Really.
That was touching.
Yeah. To whoever the parents were that gave little Mary that name. Thank you for
Yeah,
keeping her memory alive. Really, really.
yes. That's a good idea to keep her memory and spirit alive.
Yeah, you noticed how the three of the victims were named Mary? Mary
Uh,
Kellerman, Mary McFarland, Mary Reiner. They're all named Mary.
yeah, I hear that. That's quite the coincidence.
Yeah, it's quite the coincidence indeed.
It may be a coincidence, or maybe he planned it to be the show that it was.
Yeah, exactly. And
Mm,
remember how Petal mentioned in the video that because of the Tylenol murders and the hysteria surrounding it,
uh-oh,
parents were urged to not let their children go trick-or-treating
that
because
would be
of
sad.
the possibility of the children getting harmed in a similar way to the victims of the Tylenol murders, as
Yes,
well as the subsequent
I think
murders committed by Stella Nickel, as well as the vending machine murders. Though they didn't talk about the vending
Japan.
machine murders in video. Yeah, that is just quite insane to me.
Yeah,
Is
but
imagine living in that much fear of being poisoned by such an innocuous thing like medicine or candy.
you can't let your kids out for freaking Halloween. That one must bite the bite.
It does. It does, really.
Hmm I
And
couldn't imagine a year
all
without
because of one person, all because of whoever that one person was that pulled this stunt. Honestly,
asinine stunt, to be exact.
even if the person is named, they still don't deserve the attention. They really don't.
Maybe, they deserve attention in the bathroom, like going to the bathroom, having a turd or something. No offense, but that's basically the only attention that they get from me.
Me too.
Gosh.
Because if we were to give more attention to people
These
like this than necessary, it's gonna lead to copycat murders and practically
more
the
walk,
glorification of such crimes.
yeah, and more walking turds like that.
So we need to give more importance to the
The victim,
people that it affected, like the victims
yes, I
and their surviving
agree.
families.
I agree with that on that.
Yeah, if you are the family of Mary Kellerman, Mary McFarland, Adam Janus, Stanley and Teresa Janus, Mary Reiner, and Paula Prince, know that our hearts go out to you guys and that
Yes,
you may
hearts
eventually
go
find your
out.
peace through all this. I would like to give a special shout out, especially to Helen Jensen for discovering the link of the deaths to the Tylenol poisoning, to Dr. Thomas Kim for sending the contents to the lab only to have them confirmed to be that of the cyanide. Thank you to Helen Jensen and Dr. Thomas Kim for blowing the whistle on this case. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is just, I really cannot imagine what they're going through, you know, even
Oh
40 years
boy,
later.
no, exactly. I have an idea, but it sucks. Grief sucks. The
Yup. All right, so in 1991, the families of the Chicago Tylenol murders, that is the families of Mary Kellerman, Adam Janus, Stanley and Teresa Janus, Mary McFarland, Mary Reiner, and Paula Prince, would sue Johnson and Johnson under the basis that they should have been prepared for something like this. And while I completely understand that sentiment, we have to understand that just because a company is as big as they are and they have money, power, and influence and all that other stuff, it doesn't necessarily mean that they know everything. They don't know it all. So my question is, how could they have predicted that somebody would poison the Tylenol capsules with potassium cyanide? How is it even the case that they already knew better about events such as this prior to an awareness of such product tampering events in the first place? Considering that they actually took the steps to make sure no more people die from the poisonings, how is it the case that they are directly, or rather indirectly, responsible for this, considering that the responsibility is ultimately on the unidentified person and that unidentified person alone? As a society, we need to learn to, stop with this mentality that companies are basically the equivalent of God, when in fact they don't know it all, period. Again, my heart goes out to this family, and I absolutely meant no shade for them whatsoever. This is done out of pure love and empathy. So, yeah, that is just my 2 cents. It
so
really does.
my heart really does go out to them because, well, we all know my end of the story with death, that it was not It was sudden, so that being said, might mention that some other time.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is like I could acknowledge that, like, but I'd rather acknowledge the person who passed away and just go on with my life as much as possible.
Yeah.
Therefore, this cannot happen again. Like, whether it be the Tylenol murders or hemorrhaging from blood thinners.
Blood thinners. Yeah. This whole thing, again, all started on September 29th, of all things. In fact, September
I
29th,
would
2023 was like the 41st anniversary of the official beginning of the
the
murders. That's so
40.
basically that is one of the major stains on my own birthday, the Tylenol Chicago Murders. That's how much of a significance it has on me in terms of how I came into this world. But let's not talk about
Yeah,
that. So I would like to
yeah, that was
apologize. I was originally going to take notes from Petal Palmer's video, but I just completely got sidetracked and lost track of time.
that's okay.
Otherwise, it would have done it more justice, if you will. I would love to do this video with more justice and as a
You did
nod
a good
to
job.
Petal Palmer herself, as she is really awesome. She's really is.
She's awesome. Yeah, she's friggin' awesome.
Yes, and here's the best part, she's a cancer survivor. She actually made a
And
video about her struggle with cancer. I have
I was
yet to
going
watch that, but I will soon enough. Yeah, I've learned
me
that
too.
she had cancer via finding a thumbnail of one of her videos on her channel. Maybe the first of her videos.
Hmm.
I've watched a few more videos since you showed me the one on the Taiwan one, and oh, Nelly, she does every single case justice for real.
Yes, that is true. She's very good.
So far, the ones I watched covered medical cases, medical malpractice to
Yep.
be exact.
Hmm.
Man,
Some
she,
doctors should be doctors.
yes, some doctors should never be doctors, but yeah,
He's
I
a sweet.
believe. What did you take away from the video? What is it that you remember from Petal Palmer's video on this subject?
The fact that you shouldn't ban Halloween over a, excuse my terminology, terrorist wrecking everyone's life. You should let Halloween continue, in my
Yeah,
opinion. I mean, there's such a thing as a phone, dial 911. I know that sounds a little harsh, but should you feel
yeah.
your kids
Just like
just
what the
not
families of the victims did, they did call 911 and got them to the hospital
yeah,
in time. We should at least try to
how
give credit to the particular nurse in the
people
Janice
who
circle that
try.
tried to best to help. They tried their
Mm-hmm.
best, they really did. But sometimes the best is all you can do. Your very best is all you can do in terms of trying to save somebody from such a senseless death as this. Really.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Very true. Can only
Yeah.
try or give the good old college try and try your damnedest. That's all you can do.
That's right. And we're not going to name the possible perpetrators in the video.
But he's an
So if you want to
asshole.
see the names of the possible perpetrators, though, go check out Petal Palmer's video. Really. I promise you, you're gonna love it. As I stated earlier,
Yeah,
or as me and Wicked stated earlier, she did a great job in covering this
he
case.
does a freaking good job.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna end this video here. Please be sure to like, comment, and
Like,
subscribe if you enjoy it, and hit the bell button if you want to be notified of future uploads. And we will see you on Ducky and the Alien this Saturday, so please stay tuned for that.
yeah. See you then. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Stay safe.
You too. Bye.